After the devastation caused by Cromwell's war with the English Catholic Church, losing so much royal power, we find there is much money needed to support our revenue. The king swung around again to face Charles. Knole is a great support for that revenue, and your persistent opulence helps our cause to no degree. This isn't about my dukedom spending inordinate coin, Sackville ventured, sitting upright in the Louis XIV's chair and struggling to regain composure. No, it isn't. The king craned his neck towards the noble and smiled with dissatisfaction.
Was this by the disassociated relationship between King James II and Charles, old Sackville? Was the strains put on their association by Catherine Sedley, Countess of Dorchester? Making eyes at Charles whilst making love to the king did not seem to plague the royal concubine with guilt. Moreover, the scandal was the catalyst that prompted Sackville to invite William of Orange to the throne. By 1699, the new king had made Charles a privy councillor, and the face of Knole would start to see artistic development that would last to this day.
Last time on County Climbs, I looked at how Knole House and Park had evolved from a place of monastic withdrawal to a place of note within royal circles. This to the extent that it was an intrinsic factor of the downfall of Robert Dudley, Queen Elizabeth I's favourite. Now, desperate times called for desperate measures, and the impending war with France at the close of the century forced Knole to be sold. It was at this point that Elizabeth's mother's cousin, Sir Thomas Sackville, stepped in. Sackville had already taken advantage of his success in taking over the position of Lord Treasurer in the rising court circles. It was 1599, and Thomas had also replaced William Cecil as Lord Burghley. Unfortunately, the properties that came within the position burnt down.
All apart from Knole House and its lands. 1606, and as treasurer to the new king, James, the elderly Sackville, proceeded to renovate rooms in a sumptuous manner, in anticipation of a royal visit, a visit that didn't take place.
In 1665, Charles Sackville followed in his father's footsteps in knowing how to traverse the court ladder to success.
The sixth Earl volunteered to serve under the Duke of York in the Second Anglo-Dutch War, greatly impressed Charles II, as well as his bon viveur. He was a published author and poet, introducing some much-needed artistic temperament to his newly acquired Knole Park.
Buying furniture and other cast-off textiles from obsolete Stuart residences, the freshly composed Earl started a trend of collecting antique artifacts that would go on to predominate Knole. The new king, however, James II, was not bowled over by Charles's Renaissance-like behaviour. This was mainly because of the attention Sackville was giving the king's mistress, Catherine Sedley, Countess of Dorchester. It was 1699 now, and Charles Sackville had been an intrinsic part of the negotiations between the people and William of Orange. It was due to this intervention in introducing a fresh royal lineage and his prominent artistic endeavours that the Earl was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society.
The seventh Earl, Lionel Sackville, was fortunate enough to be made the first Duke of Dorset in 1720 and so inspired his heir, John Sackville. John was invigorated by the artistic atmosphere of his family home that drove him onwards in political circles, and in 1783 he was made the British ambassador to France. It was rallying cries for revolution that could be heard throughout France.
He was succeeded in these aspirations and responsibilities by his offspring, the fourth Duke of Dorset, though he died without an heir after a fall from his horse while hunting. This incident outlined how living at Knole could be both a curse and a blessing.
1850, and in a burgeoning and bulging British Empire, new blood was no longer frowned upon. Indeed, with the importation of foreign royal lineage and a broader perspective on European politics was admired. This was even seen in abundance on the arrival of the installment by the 5th Duke of Dorset, Charles Sackville Germain, the 2nd Viscount. Sackville, he was the 3rd son of the 1st Duke and his predecessor's cousin. Though Charles' age worked against him, and as it was less than a year before his death.
Inherited by Charles Germain's sister, Lady Elizabeth Sackville, a transition of power took place at this stage, perhaps splitting the family in line in twain.
Liz was the wife of George West, and it was he who assumed control of the estate, even to the extent of taking the title of Duke. During the times of female emancipation and women's rights, it was typical of the middle classes to maintain a structuralised class division. The 5th Earl of Carwar, George Sackville West, was founded when, in 1865, his wife Elizabeth acquired the barony of Buckhurst. He was further astonished when, in 1876, control was shifted further from him as his stepson, Mortimer, became Baron Sackville.
Vita, or Victoria, Sackville West was an illegitimate daughter of Lionel Sackville and born in 1892.
Although the laws of primogeniture prevented Sackville West from inheriting Knole upon the death of her father, Lionel, Vita was a new and fresh source of pizzazz for Knole House, another established author, and she managed to remind the family from whence their lines sprang, as well as inspiring Virginia Woolf to write a novel about her, from the wealth of art collectors and literary diamonds. Unfortunately, the Sackville West estate went to her brother, Charles, in 1870.
By the early 1900s, many of the formerly opulent rooms of Knole were in disuse, and much of its stored paintings and furniture was covered up and sealed.
A sign of the changed times that the house has undergone. Having gone through 2 world wars which saw it used for military purposes, as many such estates were, the park now entered a new era of change by 1946, as the National Trust took responsibility of the house's upkeep over in 1946, and the Sackville family were out of their own home to some extent. Fortunately, an arrangement was reached whereby they were leased several rooms and accommodation. Now open to the public, the great hall and art galleries afford a new style of art to be performed within Knole's walls, that of a postmodern leisure industry. Only the original owners of the house, the church, could inspire such devotion, or perhaps today it is inherent in Knole's very walls.
In the next county climbs, I'm looking at something slightly different, but just the same. Leeds Castle. The examination of its origins at Oxford during the anarchy and the wars between Empress Matilda and King Stephen, and going on from there. Norman rule and the Angevin Empire were not the best places for a burgeoning artistic birthplace that Leeds would become, and the investigation into how it started is an intriguing way to start.
Good. The 6th Earl volunteered to serve under the Duke of York in the Second Anglo-Dutch War, greatly impressed Charles II, as well as his... Oh, fuck.
Start again.
Yes, start that again. All apart from Knole House and its lands, that he heard rallying cries of revolution that could be heard throughout France. And I think they should be held that way. So we'll do that again.
That way.
No. I should be looking towards
you. Should be looking into camera, yes.
Yeah, so if we could stop that and then start again.
Okay. Why not continue?
Excuse me, sir. We don't allow photography.
No?
Something else now, so
Okay.
we don't allow muscle reflection. So
All the time.
Oh, very well, we shall come here all the time.
That tree there has been very naughty, that's why we put prison
Or maybe not. Don't you think so?
I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Woohoo! Beautiful.